Hello, my name's Robin Lambert, I'm 18 years old and living with cerebral palsy. But you guys know me as the T-Rex and you're watching My T-Rex Life. Okay guys, today I want to talk about the importance of having role models for young people with disability, both in the media and in the community. And why I, as a person with cerebral palsy, find it particularly important to reach out to the younger generations and be there for them to be able to talk to about the challenges that they might be facing, or to help them along the way and provide my insight as a disabled person to navigating the world with these physical conditions. For me, growing up, I didn't really have any disabled role models. There wasn't anyone close to me that had a disability that I could talk to about the situation that I was in, and there wasn't anyone really in the media that I could look up to and be like, wow, look at what they're achieving, look at what they're doing, that might be possible for me one day, and there's always a way for me to do things. Things are slowly changing within the media. We are seeing people like RJ Mitt becoming actors. We're seeing disabled people taking to the catwalks and walking in fashion shows, but there's certainly a very, very long way to go before the vast number of people with disabilities is represented in what we see on the screen and on television. I say it time and time again, people with disabilities belong to the biggest minority in the world, yet we're probably the most underrepresented in the media. But anyway, I think it's important that, we as people with disabilities start to become role models for those younger than us with disabilities, because when you have a disability, you often face a certain set of challenges that are pretty unique to someone that's growing up with these physical conditions. Obviously, those challenges are going to be slightly different for every person and slightly different for every disability, but often we have a lot of shared personal experience and life experience. Growing up, I missed out on quite a lot because of surgery. I had quite extensive surgery. I spent a lot of time in hospital. I got very tired easily. I wasn't able to be as competitive in able-bodied sports, and all of these things. And as you get older, it becomes more apparent that you're different. When you're younger, you don't really realise, but when you get into high school and, you realise that your body is different and it might not be trendy to, date someone with a disability, or, you might have to prove yourself because people have certain, perceptions of you as a disabled person, or, you might find certain battles just to be included in things that you're going to have to fight. And for me growing up, it would have been awesome to have someone who was in a similar situation that I can be like, look, have you ever been through this? How did you deal with it? Or even if it was just like, look, my hands don't work very well. I know yours don't work very well either. Have you got any tips on how I can write notes better in high school? Just like little things like that. It would have been awesome to have someone to talk to, or, oh, I'm a bit confused at the minute because I don't know how much I should be concerned with being disabled. I don't know how much of it I should incorporate into my identity. All of these things are like questions that, I've heard come up between many people that I've spoken to when they're in their teens, or, just before. And I think it'd be awesome if every person that was going through that could have someone else who's already been through it to talk to. With the biggest minority, there's plenty of us, and there's plenty of us to offer advice to those who are, experiencing what we've experienced. It's also just great for young people to see that, oh wow, I have a disability, and, people might think this of me, but look at all of these people that I know that are doing all of these different things, that have done all of these different things, that have achieved all of these different things. I can do whatever I want. Because, people do have certain perceptions of people with disability. People do expect people with disabilities not to be able to do certain things. And sometimes those views are broadcast, and it can be quite like, oh, really? And, sometimes people with disabilities get treated a certain way, which probably isn't how they'd like to be treated. And, you know, if you can speak to someone and say, hey, like, how did you deal with this? Like, what do you think I can do to be more comfortable? Then I think that'd be awesome. And I think it's also important that we have these role models in the media, because it shows other people, not just people with disabilities, that, you know, yes, I'm disabled, but that is not the complete narrative of my life, and I am capable of so much more. And, you know, if you just saw past the disability, then, you know, you'd see a whole bigger person. And that's why things like, you know, the recent scandals in Australia of people booing Adam Goodes on the sporting field. You know, they say it's not because of his race, because he's Aboriginal, but it's just, again, putting down a role model of kids that, you know, probably don't really have that many role models to look up to, because they are, again, a part of minority. So yeah, that's why I just really think it's important to have these role models, you know, so kids can understand, like, that anything is possible, and so they can have someone to speak to when they're going through these unique set of challenges that we all face. You know, so that if they're unfortunate enough to, say, get bullied because of their disability, they can talk to someone else who's being bullied because of their disability and can be like, you know, how do I step out of this and how do I become the bigger person? And, you know, whatever the situation might be, you know, I'm sure someone will have had a similar experience, because, yeah, although not everyone is the same, a lot of the processes that, you know, we go through and a lot of the things that we go through are similar. And I've been lucky enough, as I've got a little bit older, to become part of a great online community, and I've met so many rad people with disabilities with, like, completely different perspectives on what it means to be disabled, and, like, you know, doing completely different career paths and you know, interests and hobbies, and it's really just sort of opened my world to a whole, you know, community of people that are really supportive of each other and, you know, are really willing to help each other out, and it's great. I've never felt more comfortable within myself knowing that there's all of these people, you know, that are there to support me and are there to talk to me when I need to talk about things, and are there, you know, just to encourage people. And that's why I think it's really important as well to encourage other people within our community to do things. You know, I'm always looking for disabled artists and you know, people in fashion and stuff to just be like, wow, that, you know, that's so cool, why don't we push this, you know? There's so many things that we go on that we want more accessibility, we want, you know, more representation, we want more innovation for people with disabilities. Well, you know, there's so many of us, surely there's people with that kind of knowledge that can bring about this stuff within our own community. So why are we waiting for someone else to, like, invent all of these things for us? Why don't we just do it ourselves? Why don't we encourage those creative people that are within the disability community, or those innovative people within the disability community, to start bringing these things about for us? Why don't we just try and help ourselves a little bit more, you know? And I know it's not always easy, for sure, but I think it's time we started to, encourage more within the community and to really push more within the community to bring about these changes that we want for ourselves. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed this video, guys, and I'd love to hear about your opinions and about this issue and where you found, you know, really good support, or who you look up to as a person with a disability. And stay shiny, guys, because I love you.